Wake up to life, get up, move out, find your place on the subway train.
Okay, hey guys, Deck Construct at GB Nationals 2010, and I'm talking to artist extraordinaire Dave Kendall. How's it going, Dave?
Not too bad. Enjoy myself.
Cool. How's Nationals been for you so far?
Yeah, pretty relaxed actually. A few fans, lots of signing.
Cool.
Signing a few prints, just enjoy myself really.
Cool. Which card have you been asked to sign the most?
I think it's probably Flooded Catacombs. I can't even speak. Flooded Catacombs. So I think that's
Drowned Catacomb.
Drowned. It was actually called Flooded Catacomb in the brief.
Oh, okay.
I think that's probably why I'm a bit confused. Yeah, Drowned Catacombs.
The name kind of sticks with you.
They keep changing the name, so what you get in the brief changes to the final art. So.
Fair enough. And how was it to draw? I mean, how was it to work on something like M11 and M10? And how was it to work on something like M10? I mean, how's it generally like? What's it like generally to work on sets?
They push. You usually get a brief saying, well, this is going to be the big set or the set that most people are introduced to. So they tend to say, can you really push the art on this, or find some unusual. Just make sure you really make it a damn good piece of art if you get an M10, because they usually keep some of the old art and they replace some of the new stuff. So.
Okay, do they do it often? They kind of use something you did like years ago and kind of introduce them a new card?
I think you sometimes get the old art and say, can you tweak this, and this is the old stuff and we want a new direction. Okay. So you know the direction you don't want to go into. It just depends on the art director, what he's thinking, what sort of direction he wants to go in.
To kind of like take something you did before and just kind of bring it in with the new set.
Sketches, put it by him, see if he likes it.
Okay.
That's how it works usually. So it's much the same as working on any other deck, really.
Okay.
With Magic, I mean, there's so many good artists. You just got to keep your game right up. So.
Yeah, because a lot of the art, is really good in Magic. I mean, you're included.
Yeah, that's why I'm so neurotic. I sit there going, oh my god, I'm not good enough. I must get better.
No. You're up there, definitely. You're
that's okay.
Better artist. Well, in my opinion, anyway.
I trust you on this.
Yeah. So
your opinion counts.
Oh, thank you. Okay. So yeah, what's the art process like when you're doing a piece of art for Magic? Like illustrating a card. How do you work and what materials?
I got quite a relaxed. I must admit, it's quite a relaxed way of working. I mean, I don't have any commute. I've got a studio in the back garden. I dose myself with lots of coffee. I do spend a lot of time sketching stuff. I mean, I probably spend more time working through lots of different ideas.
Right.
I probably do, for each Magic card, I probably do about 4 pages of sketchbook.
Wow.
Just trying out different, just little thumbnails, little sketches. Does that work? Do I like that?
I'm just experimenting.
Yeah, and then that can take a day or so, and then I'll finally do the final sketch.
Right.
Sometimes I have submitted sketches in, and then come up with another idea. Say, Jeremy, I prefer this. I mean, Jeremy Jarvis is the art director.
Yeah.
What do you think of this direction? Now, you may have okayed a sketch beforehand, but every now and again you might come up with something you'd rather, which would be a far more effective card. It doesn't hurt if you've got time to submit it and see what he thinks.
So you kind of back and forth with.
Sometimes, yeah. I mean, once you start on the final piece, though, I don't tend to mess around too much. So the last thing the art director wants is a completely different type of piece of art to what he's approved in the sketch. Right.
So basically, once the sketch is final, then that's it. It's like it's locked down and.
Yeah, I mean, when I work, I tend to paint traditionally with Magic. I do the odd digital if I'm really pushed for time.
Okay.
Which is, quite often, but I like to paint if I can, because I just like to keep my eye in. And Magic's got such a good art direction that you don't get much comeback once you finish the art.
Because it does seem like a lot of Magic art is digital these days, and it's nice to see like a painted piece of art every now and then.
Yeah, I think. Digital, there's some great programs like Painter which can achieve a pretty digital effect. I think with Magic cards, when they're reduced down, it's hard to tell what's what. It's only, I suppose, with the wallpapers and with the bigger images, you can tell that they're digital. But yeah, I mean,
It's only a small little bit.
In the end, the
on the
image is the
card.
important thing. A good piece of art is most important. It
Yeah,
doesn't matter how it's done.
that's fair enough, I guess.
It's nice to paint sometimes.
Kind of more manual kind of thing rather than using.
I do think sometimes I'm handicapping myself because digital can provide so many easy shortcuts to changing colour and enhancing bits and pieces.
Right.
And when you paint traditionally, when you start adding digital contrast and stuff, it tends to break up a bit.
Okay.
With digital, it's a lot smoother, so you can enhance it a lot easier. But yeah, it's.
I suppose you can like do things like fix mistakes and stuff a lot easier as well on digital rather than
change sizes of things. The magic's pretty good. That, like I said, once you finish the art, the chances are if it's following the sketch reasonably closely, it's approved. So
okay, cool.
most of the time. Touch wood.
Okay. What's your favourite MTG card if you have one?
Favourite? I mean.
And do you play MTGs
I don't
as
play
well?
the game because I'm too busy drawing.
Fair enough.
I do have this addiction thing that I try to avoid playing any computer games. Anything was just, you know, I suppose being an artist, I'm an escapist. I like escaping.
Right.
And computer games are great escape routes. I suppose Magic, looking at the people who play Magic, they're quite addicted.
Right.
That's obviously an escape, and I think I try and gear my escapism to where I can actually get paid for it, rather than wasting. You know, I mean, I think the last game I played was Fallout 3.
Okay.
I think I played about 80 hours of that.
Wow.
And, that's it, 80 hours. That's maybe 8 Magic cards, or
if you can like,
or a couple, you know, 3 or 4 comic pages, which I could have been doing. But yeah, it's,
you just mentioned comics. So which comics have you worked on recently?
I've done a few Magic web comics.
Okay.
I've got a major project with a French company called Soleil, which should be a 3-book arc. So with France, they produce. It's not the typical American comics, where it's paperback. It's hardback volumes, about 48 pages. This one is sort of Lord of the Rings, which H.P. Lovecraft.
Sounds interesting.
Should be an interesting. We haven't reached the H.P. Lovecraft bit, but it's got a magnificent 7 feel, so maybe we're gathering the characters together.
Wow.
That will take most of the first book, and then I think in the second and third book we'll be getting to the meat of the evil story and seeing where it goes from there. But yeah, it's enjoyable. But
it sounds interesting. Lord of the Rings meets Magnificent 7 meets H.P. Lovecraft.
It's a team book, so we have we've got orcs, we've got elves, we've got dwarves, humans. There's an interesting racism angle that the humans are racist towards the elves and the orcs, and dwarves are racist towards. So it's got quite an adult theme.
Right.
You know, they're not these races are not living in harmony. Although the orcs aren't the enemy, they're more of a different tribe.
Just another kind of race in the world.
So there's all these prejudices going on, which I find quite interesting. It's quite an adult approach.
Okay. It doesn't sound like kind of traditional fantasy much. It's got the fantasy elements, but it doesn't sound like
that element. It makes it more interesting.
Rather than like the humans are always battling the orcs and.
You know, I'm a big fan of Pat Mills, and Pat Mills has that element running through his work with 2000 AD and Slane and Nemesis and all those guys. It's got that same sort of feel to it. So it's nothing's cut and dried. I don't even know. I'm not a writer, so I don't even know where the characters are going. But we're getting off Magic a bit here.
It's a break from Magic.
But yeah, it's just
good to take those kinds of breaks.
It's an awful lot of work because in France the panel count is about 8 or 9 panels a page, whereas in America it's only like 4. So it means that it's an awful lot more work, but it's enjoyable. It keeps your skills up.
Sounds like
so
it.
That's my major projects.
Cool. No, it sounds really good. I'll definitely have to check that out. It sounds interesting.
It'll be a while yet, but hopefully finish the next couple of months.
Cool. Okay, a lot of artists have kind of been commissioned to like redraw the Planeswalkers. Like you got like the original Planeswalkers that Alexi Bricklot drew, and then they got the Wizards got like other artists to like do their versions of the Planeswalkers.
Right.
So if you were asked to do any one of the Planeswalkers, like to do your version of that Planeswalker, which one would you choose?
Well, I've actually done a few for the Magic webcomics. So I've done a Johnny Goldmane.
Okay.
For the first comic I did. I've also done Sark and Vol.
Okay.
Basically, the second Planeswalker comic just is featuring Sark and Vol all the way through. With a few Eldrazi, a Dragon Ghost, a few bits and pieces. Good fun. So I quite like Sark and Vol. John is good to draw. I think I'd like to draw, is it Nicole Bolas, the dragon?
The dragon, yeah, Dragon Planeswalker, yeah.
That would be cool. I find Jace is alright, but I know he's quite popular, but I think he almost isn't edgy enough. And I think I'd rather gear towards the edgier Planeswalkers. Maybe the Beast, is it Garrett?
Garrett, yeah. Garrett.
He looks pretty cool.
I mean, people often think of Jace as kind of like an emo kind of character. He's kind of very mopey and...
He's a teenager.
Yeah, pretty much. He's a...
I read the story, so it doesn't feature heavily in the comic too much, I don't think.
And there is that one book, Agents of Artifice or something, or I mean, there's one, or Planeswalker's Path or something like that. There's a comic. I haven't read it yet, but
Johnny got a good run. I just think generally, I mean, from the whole point of view, I think I like edgy characters. I mean, Jace may be well edgy, but I don't. Yeah. He doesn't seem to have the vibe of, say, Garruk or Sarkhan, or maybe I like the underdog type of thing.
The dangerous edge kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, Sarkhan's a bit mad and he's going crazier and crazier, so that's always an interesting character.
Has another dimension to him, kind of.
I think it's just more the storytelling. You've got more potential storytelling. It's the same way that all the comics are going. That the heroes have all got these dark edges now.
Yeah.
And I suppose if I was to take major comics, I would say that Batman's my favourite character for that reason. He can be so many things. Superman is pretty much
the hero,
a goody. Batman has this. He'll do whatever he needs to get the job done. I think those are quite interesting characters. So,
cool.
Yeah, that's what I like to. If there's any Planeswalkers with that element, that would be great.
So there you go, Wizards. Do a Planeswalker with that kind of barrel. Tezzeret, yeah.
Tezzeret could be interesting. So.
Cool. So Wizards should definitely get on that. Make a few more edgy Planeswalkers and get you to illustrate them. That'd be pretty cool. Okay, the next question I had was, what are you working on next? But really kind of answered that. So,
still doing Magic stuff, but like I said, I can't say too much. But I don't, there's a few cards to come out next year. So.
Have you got anything in Skies of Mirrodin that you worked on?
Cool. Can't say anything, of course. It's all NDA, but I've got a few bits and pieces coming out. So.
Okay. Well, that's pretty much all the questions I have. So, so thanks for talking to
Thank you very much.
And thank you very much.
Good stuff.
Thanks.